So today's session agenda includes different types of Oracle GoldenGate architectures, Oracle GoldenGate Cloud Services, overview and introduction to GoldenGate Microservices, components and architecture of microservices architecture, look and feel of GGCS, and creating deployments and registering database in GGCS. We are going to discuss. So now let's focus. I request you to keep your phone down for next 60 minutes and post your questions using below form. The form link is already mentioned in the chat window. So I will give you 10 seconds from now to take any notification you have. Keep your phone on silent mode and we'll start. So I want you to focus, and I assure these next 60 minutes are going to be one of the best learning sessions which you would have come across. So please keep your phone down for next 60 minutes and your 10 seconds starts now. Okay, so let us start now. So Oracle GoldenGate, what and why? So what is GoldenGate? So GoldenGate provides near real-time transactional data replication. That means whatever transactions happens on source, they get replicated on target database in near real time. So as soon as data gets committed on source database, it gets applied on target database in near real time. Now with GoldenGate, replication can be unidirectional, bidirectional, or multidimensional. That means you can use Oracle GoldenGate for replicating data in unidirectional environment or bidirectional environment. Bidirectional means both the sides will be live. So application can be connected to any side and the replication will happen to the other side. Or with GoldenGate, replication can be multidimensional. That means that multiple sites can be involved. Now, replication can involve several sources and targets simultaneously and be used for distributing data for backup, hot standby, auditing, reporting, warehousing, and load distribution. So, one of the major advantages with GoldenGate is it not only supports like one-to-one replication, it also supports one-to-many or many-to-one architecture as well. So, say for example, you have a single source and you want to broadcast it to multiple sites. That will also work. Similarly, if you have multiple sources and you want to create a data mart, data warehouse, and want to replicate everything to a single target, so that is also possible with Oracle GoldenGate. So with GoldenGate, replication can involve several sources and targets simultaneously and be used for distributing data for backup. So you can use target data for backup if you want to use it for, or hot standby if you want to use it for, or auditing, reporting, warehousing, and load distribution. So there are multiple use cases of Oracle GoldenGate. Like if you want to use it for data disaster recovery, you can use GoldenGate for disaster recovery. If you want to use a replicated server for auditing, you can use it for that. Reporting purpose, you can use it for warehousing, as I mentioned. Load distribution. So there are multiple options you want to use because GoldenGate can replicate the data and transform the data. Another important part with GoldenGate is you can use data transformation as well using Oracle GoldenGate. So data may be replicated as is. That means whatever data is there on source as it is, it could be replicated on target, or replicated data may be edited and transformed. So edited and transformed means, say for example, what do data transformation mean? Just to give you an overview, say for example, on source you have a table called as employee. In employee table on source you have got two columns, salary and commission. However, on target you have got only one column, salary. So you want that addition of salary and commission should be present on target salary column. So you can transform the data. So I'm giving you this one example, but there can be different levels of transformation which organizations want to achieve. Like if they always want static data in a particular column, or they want to derive the value, they want to use some built-in functions. A lot of options are there while you do data transformation. So replicated data may be replicated as is using Oracle GoldenGate, or replicated data can be edited, transformed, split into different distributions, have metadata added or filtered. Both DMLs and DDLs may be replicated in whole or in part. So GoldenGate supports DML replication as well as DDL replication. So who should learn GoldenGate? Like if you're working as DBA, apps DBA, in current market, if you're working as cloud architect, cloud migration specialist, high availability data technologists responsible for data replication, PLSQL developers should learn Oracle GoldenGate. So why learn GoldenGate? So GoldenGate is used by almost top banks and telecoms and large enterprises with big budget. So GoldenGate right now, one of the hottest use case of GoldenGate right now is with cloud implementation, customer want real-time replication or zero downtime replication from on-prem to cloud. So you must have seen a lot of during this, especially after pandemic, a lot of organizations they're moving their data to cloud. Now, when they move their data to cloud, there is a downtime, right? When you're migrating or upgrading your database, it involves downtime. So in that case, because it involves downtime, organizations face a lot of revenue loss. Like consider a scenario wherein Vodafone, if their database is down, say for example 10 hours, you understand like how much impact revenue loss they will have because the customers will not be able to access, they will not be able to pay the bill, or prepaid customer may not be able to recharge their mobile, or they will not be able to make the call. If the call is being made, it will not be able to build. So a lot of things are there which are involved in this scenario. So what happens is organizations, when they want to upgrade their database from or migrate their database from on-prem to cloud, in that case they want it to be zero downtime. That means there should be zero downtime at the database level. Database should always be up and running. Now in that case, how it is possible to achieve, the best solution available in current market is GoldenGate. Like what organizations do is they buy the licenses of Oracle GoldenGate for the time being, or GGCS also we are going to discuss. That is another good point, good addition which organizations have got. So they get the license or they get billed for only that time when GoldenGate has to be run. Means they need GoldenGate and they do their work. The replication is done. Once the migration is done to cloud, they release the license. So DBAs, developers, and architects can set apart by upskill, stay ahead in career, and better paid in Oracle GoldenGate. So Oracle Oracle Cloud Infrastructure GoldenGate Service. Let us talk about it. So what is OCI GoldenGate Service? So the webinar topic of today's is OCI GoldenGate Service. So what is OCI GoldenGate Service? So the new Oracle Cloud Infrastructure OCI GoldenGate Service provide customers with a real-time data fabric platform to design, execute, orchestrate, and monitor their data replication and streaming data events. So this is the new service which was launched around April 2021. So it is not yet 1 year old. So new GoldenGate Cloud Infrastructure Service provide customer with real-time data fabric platform to design, execute, orchestrate, and monitor their data replication. So basically it's a GUI platform, you will see, where servers are managed by Oracle. So in this OCI Cloud Service, you get the GUI to configure GoldenGate, to manage GoldenGate, to troubleshoot GoldenGate issues. You get a GUI and you manage troubleshoot GoldenGate from there. Okay, so so it provides a real-time data fabric platform to design, execute, orchestrate data replication and streaming data events. So OCI GoldenGate is first cloud service of many major cloud provider to offer an elastic pay-per-use solution for general purpose database replication, data integration, real-time data ingest to cloud, and support for time series analytics while data is in flight. So this OCI GoldenGate is the first cloud provider. Oracle is the first cloud provider to offer pay-per-use GoldenGate solution. So like say for example, if you're using GoldenGate for an hour, you will build for an hour, and while your services are down, you won't be billed anything. So you pay only for what you use. So it is pay-per-use solution. So why this is best solution is like if you're going for GoldenGate licenses, GoldenGate licenses are charged based on source and target database codes. So it doesn't matter how many GoldenGate installation you do. It doesn't matter. Even if you're into Hub, if you're installing GoldenGate Hub, still you have to pay based on source and target database course you have. So for those people, for those organizations where licensing is an issue, what GoldenGate Cloud Service offers them is it offers them pay per use solution. So the advantage of this solution is a lot of organizations earlier they were susceptible to use GoldenGate because see there is some agreement with Oracle in that case and it costs a lot. But with OCI GoldenGate service, the advantage is if in a morning, only in a morning, you run GoldenGate services for say for example 30 minutes, and during that time everything comes in, then you stop the service, so you won't be charged. So in a single day you will be charged only for 30 minutes. Apart from that you won't be charged. So this is the advantage of using Oracle GoldenGate. So it is pay per use solution for general purpose database replication. So you are charged only for what you use. You won't be charged if your service is down. So if your GoldenGate service is not up and running, you won't be charged anything. So new OCI native GoldenGate service automate many functions, including configuration, workload scaling, and patching, while maintaining high availability. So this GoldenGate cloud service it automates like patching. Patching is really very easy in this environment. So whenever the upgrade comes, it will show you on the screen that the upgrade is there. You click on upgrade button, upgrade happens. So upgradation of GoldenGate is easy, though it may take some time, but upgradation of GoldenGate is easy. Also, you can scale up your CPUs, etc. in your environment. Say for example, again, it depends on how many CPUs you are running. So if you are running one CPU, it will cost less. Means increasing number of CPU will increase the cost for using the environment. So say for example, right now your GoldenGate is running. You find out that there is huge amount of data and the replication is a bit slow. So what you can do is you can scale up your CPU. And once you find that everything is in sync, you can you can lower down the CPU count. So that are possibilities. So Oracle GoldenGate fully encapsulated microservices environment enable customer to seamlessly integrate the service into DevOps. So the thing is this OCI GoldenGate cloud service uses microservices architecture. So there are two types of architecture in GoldenGate, microservices and classic. If you're not aware, just for your information. Anyways, I'll be discussing as and when we move through the session. So Oracle GoldenGate Cloud Service uses the microservices architecture. So let me walk you through how do we use this cloud service. So let me go to cloud.oracle.com. So I'm logging into cloud.oracle.com. Once you're into cloud.oracle.com, once you log into your page, it will give you once you're logged in, this page will come up with all the services and environment. Once you have done that, click on left. There are three hamburgers. So under home, you will find GoldenGate over there. So click on GoldenGate. Click on GoldenGate. So you will find GoldenGate deployment. So you are going to create the deployment over here. So how do you create the deployment? First of all, so you need to click first GoldenGate and then on the left you need to click on deployment. Okay, so I have one deployment running which is OGG123. You can name anything. So I'll show to you how you create a deployment. So to create the deployment, create a deployment. So basically deployment in GoldenGate, if you're not aware about microservices, so if you're aware about microservices, so whatever implementations you do, like administration server, administration server, performance metric server, distribution server, receiver server, they all form a deployment. So that is why we are saying create deployment. create deployment, click on create deployment when you have to create the deployment. Provide the name of the deployment like OGG 1234. Description, if you want to provide this as test deployment demonstrating how cloud service works. Then you need to choose the compartment where this where this will reside. So I'm saying that this should reside in the compartment called as OGG. So compartment is basically organizing multiple stuff together. Then I was talking about the OCPU count, the CPU count. So you can increase or decrease the CPU count to from 1 to 24. So you can, 1 is minimum, 24 is maximum. Now the thing is, if you use 24, your billing would be too much higher. Yeah, your replication may be faster. But yeah, it depends on the configuration you choose. So if you want to be build minimum, use CPU count as well. If you want to choose auto scaling, so auto scaling, what it does is depending on the load, it scales itself up to maximum 24 cores. So allows system to use up to 3 times the provision number of cores as the workload increases up to maximum of 24 cores. Okay. So if you want to be build like minimum, untick this box because you using 24 CPU count is going to be huge. Then you have to check the subnet. Subnet should be created prior, and then click the option license included. So this will be the license included option. If you will bring your own license, that won't work here. You need to click on license included if you want to use this pay-per-use solution. So always, if you have any doubts, any questions related to licenses, always check with your Oracle account manager. He can guide you better if you have any questions or doubt related to it. But yeah, if you want to use this OCI GoldenGate cloud service, then select this option license included and then click on next. Now in the next page, it will ask for the instance name. Now this instance name could be anything. Say for example, OGG webinar if you want to choose. Then it will ask for administrator username. So administrator username is the one because it's a GUI. So you need a username and password to log in. Okay. So it will ask you for the administrative username. You can provide any administrative username, provide the password, confirm the password over here. Once you have done that, then you can click on create. Once you click on create, your deployment will be created successfully. It takes around 1 minute to 5 minutes to create the deployment. Once you click on create deployment, you will get your deployment over here. Now status of the deployment by default is inactive. So let me stop it for you. Okay. The status of the deployment by default is inactive. Like my deployment was running, I started it prior to the session. But now I'm stopping it. So your deployment should be up and running if you want to use the service. If your deployment is down, your service won't run. So how do you select the option of whether to start or stop it? So click on 3 dots here, and then there you will get the option like if the service is stopped, so you will get the start button active. So stopping and starting may take few minutes. It's not like quick. So because the deployment stops all the servers and then it starts them as well. So let me go back to deployments and see. So it is still updating. So right now I cannot log into the server. I cannot do anything as of now because the service is the deployment which I have created, it is updating itself. So once it updates itself, it will show you as inactive or active, whatever it is. So when you change your service from stop to start mode, in that case it will give you the warning that, not warning, basically it will ask for your consent that you will be billed when you resume the service. So see, the status is inactive right now. Right now if I want to start it, I click on 3 dots, I click on start. So by starting the deployment, you acknowledge that Oracle will resume billing you for services used. Right? Click on start if you want to do that. So now it will start. So it is updating itself. So once the update is completed, you can log on to the service. So how do you log on to the service now once the service is up and running? So click on OGG123. You can click on OGG123 and then you launch the console. So right now when I launch the console, it says that site cannot be reached. The reason being service is not up yet. It is still updating. So once it is up and running, you can launch the console. So you can get the console URL directly from here. This is the console URL. Do you see? This is the console URL. The version which is being used is this 21.1.0.0. Now the best part with this is you get this upgrade over here. So I was telling you patching upgradation of this GoldenGate is very easy over here in this GoldenGate cloud service. So what you have to do is you have to click on upgrade option, and once you click on upgrade now, your services will resume without any issues. So you can resume your service without any issues from here. Okay. So another option is, like I was talking about, scaling up your CPUs if you want to scale your environment. So on the same page, once you try to start, on the same page, you will get the scale option as well. Once your deployment is up and running, after that, that will become active. So you can scale it from here as well. There are more options. If you want to delete this, you can delete it from here. So there are a lot of other options available, whatever you want to do. Similarly, on this page, you can find the metrics like CPU utilization, CPU consumption, memory utilization, overall health, all other information you can find from here directly. Okay. So GoldenGate Cloud Service is pay-per-use service. So you are billed for the service whatever you use. So I'm just checking, refreshing the page to see if console is launched. No, console is not launched. So I was talking about, so now the thing is, so you see we selected auto scaling as means we untick that box. So that's why it is disabled. License type is license included. And these are the other things which we have over here. So this is the public IP address of the server. So the thing is, basically the GoldenGate cloud service, what you are running, deployment is happening on a server. But that server, what you are seeing over here, these servers are managed by Oracle. These servers are not managed by us. These servers are managed by Oracle. So whatever server related stuff is happening, you will find that Oracle will have control over it. Like in classic architecture, we do have access to the server, so we can manage, or in fact in microservices architecture, when we do the on-prem deployment, in that case we have access to the server, but in this case we don't have access to the server. Now when this cloud service was new, there were few issues which I faced personally, like I didn't have access to the log or previous report file, etc. And it was because it was a new baby, it means it was newborn at that time. Oracle also didn't launch it full-fledgedly. Like they launched, but yeah, as the service becomes more, means as the product becomes more mature, it launches a lot of new things. So same thing has happened with cloud services now. So the latest version which is there on cloud is 21.1.0.5. That's the latest version which is being used on cloud service. So it decides on its own, like you cannot decide like which version you have to use for cloud service. It uses the latest version and it does it automatically for you. Okay, so let me refresh it again and see if the service is running, because until the service is running, I cannot launch the console. So for running the service, my service should be active. Now do you see? I have an active service. Now, but once I have an active service, I can click on launch console. So once I click on launch console over here, Here now you need to provide username and password for logging into your environment. So you remember while creating the deployment, it was asking us to provide username and password. It was asking us to provide username and password. So administrative username and password while creating the deployment. So this is what we provide. So we need to provide username and password, whatever you have provided during the creation. So I selected the username as OGG admin and password is whatever you provide. Now in this deployment, you can find this is Oracle GoldenGate 21.1.0.0.1 for Oracle OGGCS. So you will see your administration server, distribution server, performance matrix server, receiver server, everything is running right now. So administration server, distribution server, performance matrix server, receiver server, as I told you, all these are part of your deployment. Once you see it, click on hamburger on the left side. Now, if you want to check so if I click on administration server, then on the left, you click on configuration. So you provide all the credentials over here. Now, how do you provide the credentials over here? For providing the credentials, you need to register your database. You need to register your database. Now the question comes, how do we register the database? So same place where you create the deployments, on the same location, you need to click on registered database. Okay, here click on register database. So provide the name OGG webinar. So you need to provide the name of the name of the connection. So basically, in microservices architecture or in classic architecture, how do we log in? So in classic architecture, how do we log into the database using GGSCI? We use DB login over there, right? However, in microservices architecture, we create the credentials in administration server. Right, so on the left side we click on hamburger and then click on configuration, and under credentials we create a plus sign and add a new credential. However, in this cloud service, what you have to do is you have to register your database. So how do you register your database? On the GoldenGate cloud console, Oracle Cloud Console, click on register database. Once you click on register database, provide the details like name of the credential. So say for example it's OGG admin, alias is OGG webinar, say for example, alias name OGG webinar. Then if you want to provide description, so this is demonstration of GoldenGate registering databases on. So this is demonstration of registering databases on OGG Cloud Services. Then compartment you have to choose. So compartment, under which compartment this database registration should go. So you need to provide that information. So by default, means we have a compartment called as OGG, so it will go inside that. Then you have to select the database. So now the thing is, with this cloud service, the advantage is it can connect to any cloud database, or it can connect to any on-prem database as well. So it's not like this cloud service GoldenGate can connect to only cloud database. The major advantage is if your database is running on-prem, still this can connect to cloud database. Okay, so you have to select the database over here. So if your database is in cloud here, so you need to select the database and provide the database details. So another major advantage with GoldenGate is from 21C, GoldenGate has extended its support to autonomous database. So until 19C, GoldenGate was able to replicate data to autonomous database. It wasn't able to extract data from autonomous database. But from 21C, extraction from autonomous database is also supported. So when you select the database on cloud, you need to select these three options, like either autonomous database or bare metal or VM database or VM cluster database exadata. Whatever option you choose, you need to select it, and then you need to provide the location where your database resides. So I have got one database. Okay, I've got in different region. I believe that's why not in this region. So once you select the database, it will automatically search. It may be present in some other compartment, you can check. And once it is done, select the database home. It will automatically select the database home, etc. for you. It will create the FQDN. So FQDN is fully qualified domain name. So it will automatically create it for you, and then provide the connection string, etc., username and password, and it will register. So you need to create a GoldenGate user, just like when we made the prerequisite for setting up classic and microservices architecture. So you need a GoldenGate specific user, right, to connect to the database. Same way, you need to provide the username over here. Once you have done that, and you click on register, your database will get registered. Once you register it, what will happen is you can find those details under the credentials. So now the thing is, I don't have any cloud database created under the region I am using. That's why we are unable to see. Similarly, another option is if you want to use your on-prem database credentials to be created. So you can use this enter database information as well. You can use this enter database information as well. So the best advantage with this 21.1.0.5 is like with this 21C. So in 21.1.0.4 until 21.1.0.4, and if you are using this cloud service, there was an option like you can only connect to the database running on local node. You were not able to connect to the database running on scan listener. So you couldn't connect to the, so basically even if your source database is on rack, you had to use the local listener connecting on database node. So basically you had to connect to one single node until 21.1.0.4. Okay, now from 21.1.0.5, which is the latest version, the advantage is you can use the scan listener in Oracle RAC deployment. So the thing is, it's not mandatory for you to connect to a particular node. You can connect to any of the three nodes. If say for example, if so automatically it will resolve. You just have to connect to the scan listener. You can, okay, and then it will ask you to provide the scan listener fully qualified domain name. So if you are using your local listener running, if you are using a local listener mode, in that case you need to provide database name FQDN. If you are using scan listener, in that case you need to provide scan listener FQDN, and then database connection string and username and password. Once you do that, click on register. It will be registered. Upon registering, automatically you will find that the credentials will come over here, and you can click on connect. If the connection is successful, that means you are able to connect. So the advantage with using this cloud service is the GoldenGate cloud services pay-per-use solution. You have to pay only for the service whatever you are using. Guys, I again repeat, if you have any question, feel free to write in the chat window and I'll take all the questions. Okay, now the advantage of this cloud service is you don't have to pay for GoldenGate licenses. You are charged only for the service what you use it. You don't have to pay for everything. Like, so what happens in general scenario is, say for example, you have 10 sources, 10 targets, and each database core is four cores. So you'll be charged 40 plus 40, 80 cores. You will be charged for 80 cores cost, and you will have to pay that amount. Now with GoldenGate cloud service, the advantage is you don't have to pay based on your database, source database and target database code. You are charged only for what you use. Now, one question which I have faced regularly is this service cheaper or licenses on when you buy licenses for on-premise cheaper? So to be very honest, I cannot answer it. But yes, the answer to your question would be like, see, or means this is my personal opinion. I won't say that I have noticed it because this product is so new, like it's only 1 year old. So there is means I still have to use I still have to reach conclusion. It depends on an organization. See, what happens is when you buy Oracle licenses even for on-prem deployments, what happens is it depends on Oracle, like how much you have to pay. You have to bargain with Oracle in that case, and it depends on how much you are paying for it. So everything depends on cost for cloud service as well as on-prem service as well. So there is no way, like right now, I cannot confirm whether you have to uh, whether this service is cheaper or whether on-prem service is cheaper. I cannot confirm. Means there are no statistics available with me yet because this is so new. Like I have done almost 25 installations of this as well, 25 deployments of this or setup of this. Installation is by default. So Mandar has a question: how is the installation done on cloud if you don't have access to the server? So you just have to procure your service and then create the deployment. Automatically your installation is so automatically your installation is done. So you don't have to do any installation from your side. You just have to create the deployment just like I shown to you. So go to deployments, click on create deployment. Once you create a deployment, provide the name, details, what I have shown to you. And once you do that, automatically the service is created for you. Okay. So GoldenGate Cloud Service is pay-per-use service, and you are paid only for what you want to use it. So what are the different concepts of GGCS? So different concept of GoldenGate Cloud Service include compartment, which organize and isolates your cloud resources, such as cloud networks, compute instances, block volumes or OCI GoldenGate deployments and database registration. So it compartment basically it organizes and isolates the cloud resources, all the cloud resources, whatever networks you have, deployments you have, database registrations you are doing. Then deployment is a container for OCI GoldenGate resource, such as OCI GoldenGate deployment console. So deployment basically refers to a GoldenGate deployment which deploys GoldenGate services to the environment, like administration server, performance metric server, receiver server, and distribution server. Then deployment backup is a backup of deployment current state. So you can take okay, another major advantage with this service is automatically you can set the deployment backup and the backup can be taken here. So what happens is the backup is taken for or kept for 60 days. After 60 days, the backup is removed from the system. So backup could be taken over here. You can schedule the deployment, you can schedule the backup, and backup of this deployment can be taken like once in a day, twice in a day. You can create. So deployment backup can help you troubleshoot issues, clone deployment, restore deployment. So another advantage is like you can troubleshoot issues, you can restore your deployment. Deployment backups are created daily, but you can create them manually at any time and save them to your Oracle object store tenancy. So you can automatically your backup is taken every day, but if you want to take it multiple times, you will have to do it manually. Then database registration. So database registration, it captures source and target credential information and enables networking. So like we registered the database for creating the credential information. So database registration captures source and target information and enables the networking for you so that GoldenGate Cloud Service can connect to your source and target database. Then you have extract, trail, and replicate as part of concepts of GGC. Okay, so how do you create your extract or different things over here. So under administration server, if you want to create the extract, click on this plus sign. If you want to create the replicate, click on this plus sign over here. So I told you this cloud services encapsulates your microservices architecture. So what are different types of architectures available in GoldenGate? So there are two types of architecture available in GoldenGate. One is classic architecture and another one is microservices. So just for the information, GoldenGate was launched in 1995. GoldenGate was founded in 1995 and it is named after famous San Francisco bridge called as Golden Gate Bridge. Now from 1995 to 2009, there it was only Golden Gate, and Oracle overtook Golden Gate in 2009, and since then it is known as Oracle Golden Gate. Now from 2009 to 2017, there was only one way to configure Golden Gate, and that was through command prompt. Now until 2017, it was called as Oracle Golden Gate. Like this is GGSCI. So this is command prompt based architecture. So this is command prompt based architecture, GGSCI. So until 2017, this was called as Golden Gate. In 2017, Oracle renamed it to Oracle Golden Gate Classic Architecture. So Oracle Golden Gate Classic Architecture allows you to set up, manage, troubleshoot, configure Golden Gate through command prompt. And it is available for both Oracle as well as non-Oracle databases. Now, but from 21C onwards, Oracle is going to deprecate the classic architecture for Oracle database, MS SQL database, MySQL database, Informix database, and DB2 database. That means it is not desupported, it is deprecated. That means any new feature won't be rolled out for classic architecture after this. Then in 2017, along when they renamed the existing architecture to classic, they launched a new architecture of Golden Gate, which is called as microservices architecture. So microservices architecture is available from Golden Gate version 12.3 onwards. It allows you to set up, manage, troubleshoot, configure Golden Gate through GUI. So this is microservices architecture. What we see here, this is microservices architecture, what you see over here. Okay. So this is how you can configure your Golden Gate extract. You can set up, manage, troubleshoot, configure Golden Gate through GUI. It allows with integration with cloud. Now until 19C, microservices was available only for Oracle database. Now from 21C onwards, Oracle has launched microservices architecture for MySQL database, MS SQL database, DB2 and Informix database along with Oracle database. Okay. So you have two types of architecture. One is classic, second is microservices. Now there is another product in Golden Gate family which is called as Veridata. So Veridata is a product, as the name suggests, it verifies the data for you. So Veridata is used to find the data discrepancies between the two objects and can repair them as well. Now if you want to learn more about Veridata, there are few webinars which I did for Veridata. You can find it on my YouTube channel. But just to give you the overview, Veridata is used to find the data discrepancies between the two objects, and if you want to repair them, it can repair those discrepancies as well for you. So say for example, on source department table, you have 10,000 records. On target, you have 9,000 records. So there is that discrepancy of 1,000 records, right? So what Veridata can do for you is it can repair those discrepancies and it can get the two databases in sync for you. So Veridata is a product which is used for data verification. So Oracle Golden Gate classic architecture looks like this. You have source database and target database. So capture process or extract process reads the data from source database, writes it to local trail. Pump process reads the data from local trail and writes it to remote trail, and replicate process applies it to target database. Now one quick question, please type in the chat window. Does anyone have any question related to with the introduction of classic architecture integrated is With the introduction of microservices architecture, integrated is no longer being used. I faced this question a lot many times and I have tried to clear it, but still do you have the same question? Anyone has this question? With the introduction of microservices, integrated no longer exists. Does anyone have that question? Okay, so I'll answer it for you. So this is the different types of architectures we are talking about. Now, under different types of architecture, you have different types of extract and replicate. So you have different types of extracts available as integrated extract or classic extract. Similarly, you have different types of replicates available as integrated replicate, non-integrated replicate, coordinated replicate or parallel replicate. So integrated is type of extract. Under classic architecture, you can create multiple extracts, multiple types of extract like classic extract or integrated extract. Similarly, under microservices, you can create either classic extract or integrated extract. So integrated is type of extract and replicate. Microservices is type of overall GoldenGate architecture. Okay, so you have extract process writing data to local trail in classic architecture. Pump process reads the data from local trail, sends it over TCP/IP network and writes it to remote trail, and then the replicate process applies it to target database. So you also have Oracle GoldenGate microservices architecture, which is a new REST API based architecture which enable us to configure, monitor and manage Oracle GoldenGate services using web-based user interface. So Oracle GoldenGate 12c R3 introduces the concept of microservices architecture. So from August 2017, this microservices architecture is available. So this is how your microservices architecture looks like. So you have what happens is you have a service manager. Under service manager, you have got as I told you, all these administration server, performance metric server, distribution server, and service manager. They form the deployment for you. So under service manager, you create the deployment. So under service manager, you have an admin server. Now under admin server, you can configure GoldenGate extract and replicate. So you configure GoldenGate extract process under the administration server, which writes data to local tray. Now, the data pump process of classic architecture has been replaced by distribution server in microservices. So distribution server sends the data over TCP/IP network, where receiver server receives it, which has replaced the collector process of classic, and writes to the remote trail, and the replicate process running under administration server on target applies it to target database. So you have admin server where extract and replicates are running, the distribution server where the data distribution is happening, like basically the data being sent over TCP/IP network. Receiver server receives the changes which is being sent over TCP/IP network by the distribution server. And you also have a performance metric server, which is the new addition to GoldenGate from 12.3 version onwards, which lets you monitor the Oracle GoldenGate performance. So different components of microservices are administration server, service manager, receiver server, distribution server, and performance metric server. So administration server administer, supervise, manage processes, configuration, parameter files, etc. So all the parameter files, credentials information, process information resides inside administration server. So it is central control entity for managing replication components. It create and manage local replicate and extract process without accessing GoldenGate installation. Receiver server, it handles all incoming trail files. So receiver server handles all incoming trail files, works with distribution server, provides compatibility with pump process in classic architecture. So you can have on source, you can have classic architecture, and on target you can have microservices architecture. That will work as well. Distribution server, it acts as data distribution agent that supports conveying and processing data in commands. It replaces classical data pump. Performance metric server uses metric server to collect and store instance deployment performance results. So performance metric server is huge addition to the core product, which uses metric server to collect and store instance deployment and performance result. You can use performance metric server in both classic as well as microservices architecture. So if you want to see your performance metric server, you can see your performance metric server from here. You can see under performance metric server your admin. So you can see your distribution server, whatever distribution path you create. So right now we don't have any path created, so you don't see. But if you have to create any path, so under distribution server, you create multiple, you can create one or more paths. So this is how you add the path. So if you want to add the path, you will have to provide the target details, where it is going to connect to, what algorithm it is going to use to connect. So all those information you need to provide over here. So all this information is provided over here in GoldenGate environment. Then you have got performance metric server. So performance metric server tells you about all the services which are running. Along with that, what all GoldenGate extract from are running, it tells you details about those. So if you check your administration server, all the details. So the major part with performance metric server is it give you the graphical overview, like how much CPU utilization is there, what is IO, what is memory consumption, everything is given over here. So that is one of the major addition or major advantage of using the performance metric server. So you can view the error log, etc. from there. So if I have to stop the deployment which you have created, so if you don't want to get billed for the service, you just have to click on three dots and click on stop. So this will stop your GoldenGate server. So stopping the deployment stops your GoldenGate instance. You will be able to access the deployment and you won't be billed until you restart it. So now your service will be stopped as well if you want to stop. So GoldenGate installation, like for on-prem server, whenever you are going to install GoldenGate, always ensure that you check the certification metrics. So from where you can download your classic architecture of microservices binaries, you can download it from otn or edelivery.oracle.com. But prior to proceeding with installation, always ensure you check the certification metrics to download the correct version. Before you proceed to install, always ensure you check the certification metrics. Okay, once you have checked the certification metrics, then proceed to install. So now I provide courses on the Oracle GoldenGate. So there are 3 courses available: Oracle GoldenGate Classic Architecture, GoldenGate Microservices 19C, and GoldenGate Veridata. So if you want to learn more about GoldenGate, you can join my live training course where I discuss in depth about this training. So the training program which I run, it starts from basics and covers up to advanced level. It is completely practical and interview and job oriented training. So you will have in and out knowledge of GoldenGate, detailed knowledge on Oracle GoldenGate. So I am going to upgrade the course content to 21C. That the 21C is the latest version which was launched around 2 to 3 months back or 4 months back. So I'm still testing it. So what happens is you get upgradation to course as well. So 19C, 21C are same with few extra features which anyways we'll be discussing. So during the training, as and when the course content is upgraded, definitely you will be getting to 21C as well. So the way GoldenGate works, it works similar whether you're working on classic architecture or microservices architecture, and the way if you're working on 19C and 21C. So 21C is the latest feature version of GoldenGate, but still with 21C There are only few features added, which anyways I'll be discussing. I discussed like 21C new features, but still, because the version is new, until it is tested, I don't. So because still, if you go out into the market, 19C is being used, 21C, Oracle has launched it, but I haven't seen any environment where it has been upgraded, to be very honest. And I'm still testing it in my own lab. Once the testing is successful and found out that it is bug free, then I really upgrade my course content to 21C. But definitely it will be upgraded soon. Okay, now if you want to access the course content, you can access the course content using below link. Okay, so you can access the course content using the link I have mentioned in chat window as well.